Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in and welcome to this video on the Hurricane Logistics. This thing is an absolute beast. Whether you're a fan of PvE and want a supporting ship using multiple accounts, or part of a PvP orientated alliance or corporation, this ship is an absolute must-have, so stay tuned. In this video I'll show you what the ship is all about, what you can use it for, what it can do, and how it compares to its counterpart, the Drake Logistics. If we have a look first of all at the Drake Logistics, let's see what the two ships' attributes look like and what's drawn me to the conclusion that the Hurricane is better and more suited. So you can see here the Drake has the 300% bonus to the remote shield range, and it has 150% bonus to the group remote shield booster range. So there's some subtle differences here. The Drake Logistics is better for the group repairers. That will have a bigger range than the Hurricane. However, the Hurricane's large remote shield boosters will have double the amount repaired and a hell of a lot more range. So I think for the purpose of this and what we're looking to do, yes, there's two different things you could try, but the Hurricane, I think with the range on this ship that you'll find later on, it's not going to be too much to ask for people to anchor on you at, say, 20 kilometers, something like that. So you can see here for the Hurricane Logistics attributes, we've got a 600% bonus to the remote shield booster optimal range. They're the high slot modules. 75% bonus to the group shield booster effective range, and a 75% bonus to the cap transmitter effectiveness. We also have a 15% bonus to remote shield boost amount per level there. So that is significant. That's what the Drake is lacking, and that's what's going to make a huge difference to the high-slotted large remote shield boosters, as we will see and talk about in a second when I cross-reference the two different ships and I show you the two different modules and what they can do. This ship looks amazing, by the way. The actual model of this ship is probably one of the best-looking ships in EVE. Also, a noticeable mention there. So, looking at my fitting, I've done some experimenting and I've designed this to be a ship that can work in both PvE and in PvP. However, in PvE you can obviously tweak it however you want, but my objective here was to get the highest effective hit points that I can, so that in a large PvP fleet, if I'm called as primary target, which being a logistics will most likely happen, I have 80,000 effective hit points, so that should give me enough time to call out and broadcast that I need repairs. And also, if I'm running those 5 group shield boosters, they're applying extra shield for myself, plus I should have the same benefit from other logistics. Now, with my recharge mode active, which it currently is, I have a 5-minute active cap time, which you can see there. However, that's further boosted by the fact that I have 2 capacitor batteries. When I'm in recharge mode, which is a ship bonus for the logistics, I have a much larger signature radius and also a much lower ship velocity, so my speed massively reduces. However, this does enable me to continuously remote rep other ships and not have to worry so much about capacitor. It also enables me to have my low slots fitted with some tank. So I've gone into normal mode and you can see now that my speeds jump back up to 329 and my signature radius has halved. So yeah, it does make a difference, but that's just for you to travel around and relocate. And if we look over here with the recharge mode activated, we've got a 50% bonus to the cap recharge time, a minus 80% ship speed, and 100% sig radius bonus. So the penalties for having 50% cap recharge speed on a ship that's designed for logistics, for me, is acceptable, and it does make the ship incredibly powerful, so I would always have that mode on unless I'm traveling. Taking a quick peek at the large remote shield booster, I've got some C-types on here. You can see I have 6 of these loaded, and I'm able to transfer 800 shield per module every 8 seconds. That's working out to an optimal range of 70 kilometers with a 70 accuracy fall off. So you could be remote shield repairing quite effectively, let's say around 100-120 kilometers from a target, which means in space, if you're using bookmarks and you've set it up for a PvP encounter, you could be incredibly jammy. However, you'd want to be up close in a large PvP fleet for your group shield boosters to work. Hurricane again has the 800 shield repair, which the Drake is lacking, as we'll see shortly. Another significant thing with this ship is the large group shield boosters have a range of 42 kilometers. So that means my bubble from end to end, point to point, in total will be 84 kilometers wide. And anything within that bubble will be receiving every 20 seconds 482 shield. So I've got 5 of these. I'd want to activate them staggered. So I'd activate one module, wait 3 seconds, activate the next module, and so on, so that fleet are consistently receiving a top-up of shield. And if you had 2 or 3 logistics in your fleet doing the same thing, you're going to be very, very hard to kill. So I mentioned earlier about the subtle differences between the Drake and the Hurricane. If we look at the Drake's group shield boosters, the group boosters do an extra almost 20 kilometer range, but it's the same amount. And if we have a look at the other module, the large remote shield booster, you'll see here we have a much lower range, and we're only boosting 457 shield, opposed to the Drake's 800. So that for me is what swung my decision towards the Hurricane logistics. Hopefully you agree. If you don't, please mention in the comments below. So moving on back to the Hurricane logistics, we can have a look and run through the fitting. So you can see here in the high slots, I've got, as we mentioned, 6 of those large boosters. In the mid slots, I've got 5 of the group boosters. Looking at the large one, again, it's got huge range and it's got huge repair amount. Low slots for the tank, I've got 2 adaptives. So we need to have resists, especially for fleet warfare, as you'll have huge damage hitting you at the same time, and you need to mitigate as much of that as possible. We've got 2 of the capacitor batteries. Another thing is if you get neuted, then you're going to want to be able to continue to push your capacitor back up again. I've got a Valkyrie, pretty pointless. I mean, this will be mainly for getting on kill mails if needed, if you want to be part of the kill mails. For my combat rigs, or defensive rigs in this case, I've got 2 EM reinforcers to plug the EM hole, and I've got a thermal to do the exact same thing. Optimal capacitor here, I've gone for Tech 2 rigs, so they're somewhat affordable. 2 cap recharge rigs and 1 Kappa mount rig is the optimal recharge time for this ship in particular. Now we're just going to have a little look on the field here. I've gone to an incredibly easy mission, a mission that's just in the system with some ships that don't matter particularly. I just want to give you an example of how I would roughly use this in a combat scenario. So the first thing is we need to, of course, activate those invulnerability fields. We do have modules spread across 2 pages, which isn't ideal. However, due to the number of non-stackable modules, this has to be the case. So if we go back over here now, we're going to, as I've mentioned, stagger the activation of large remote shield boosters. So we don't want to activate them all at once, otherwise people could be waiting too long between boosts and may be destroyed in that time. So as you can see here, we've got a shield booster hitting every few seconds, which is ideal. You want to have this going throughout the battle. And of course, we are in the recharge mode. The recharge mode is that icon in the bottom right there, which you can see as it looks active with a little power symbol. We're going to now start staggering the group repairers, and we want to have those running as spread apart as possible for the exact same reason. If we're doing this, people in fleets within this very large bubble you can see in space are going to be constantly receiving a trickle top up of their shield. And when you have multiple logistics doing the same thing, that's going to overlap with other ships. And I mean, if you're in a 10-20 man fleet and you've got 2 of these Hurricanes or even 3 of these Hurricanes, you are going, if the other fleet doesn't have logistics, you are most certainly going to win. This will turn the tide of a fight quite easily. Noticeable mention here, I've got plasmoids as my fuel. I've put in 10,000 of those, which will probably last me about half an hour if I had them running continuously. Again, they aren't using a great deal of fuel, but it will be quite expensive to run this. So for PvE, you might not use them. You might just use the large or the high slots to do that job. And you'll only have the groups for if you need to top up your own shield, which I don't think you will, if you're keeping at a good range, say 100, 120 kilometers. So yeah, as we can see here, I am maintaining my cap extremely high, so you could tweak this fit a bit. You could take out a cap battery if you felt confident enough. However, I do have max skills because this is the Fulmination server. Little caveat, some of the things you might see in this video could be subject to change. We are on the cusp of moving into Tech 9. I think some people have just hit Tech 9, and at the moment the ship hasn't changed, so this should give you a pretty good idea of what's to come. Some skills that you should ideally have trained for this ship are going to be your targeting skills. You want to be able to target as many ships as possible so you can swap your repairs, and you want to train anything to do with your shield boosting skills, and then any other supplementary skills used for a battle cruiser. You want to get as high as you can for the defense and cap recharge. So my verdict on this ship is it's a massive game changer for fleet warfare, and if your fleet isn't having at least 2 or 3 of these, depending on the size of your fleet, then you are going to be at a significant disadvantage. Throw 2 of these or 3 of these Hurricane Logistics into a fleet, combined with some Guardian ships and some DPS vessels, some tackle ships, and you will be wreaking absolute havoc. So definitely worth having this ship for both PvP and PvE if you have a pirate faction battleship and you want a bit of added insurance and be able to get up front and apply all the DPS you can without having to think as much. Then yeah, this ship is certainly for you. I hope you've enjoyed this video, folks. If you like my content, it would mean a lot to me if you could like and subscribe this video, hit the bell notification to receive updates when I release future content. Thanks for watching.